The number one way that you can change yourself and really just change your mind, change your reality in any capacity, is through method acting. My name is Anna Zena, and I help coaches and entrepreneurs, hypnotherapists, and healing leaders double their revenue in 2 years or less. And one of the modalities that I utilize is through method acting, or creating an alter ego, or connecting to your higher self, or creating or connecting to your higher business self. There's a bunch of different ways that you can describe this, but at the end of the day, it's just like method acting. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, so born and raised there, and it's kind of how I figured this out. So when an actor that utilizes method acting gets a role, they will get the role, really understand the person, their storyline, what they went through, what their personality must be like, what they must feel like, what their release of emotional triggers must look like and sound like, and they become that person. They live in their everyday regular life, not just when they're acting, but when they're off screen, they are still playing that role completely in their mind. And there are some people, like the actor that played the Joker, actually unalived himself accidentally through sleeping medication because he was playing that role and it messed with his mind so badly. He was a method actor and was in that role even outside of his life, like outside of his work life, when he was home, and it was causing him to have insomnia because he couldn't sleep because he was that person. He became a monster. He acted like one, spoke like one, ate like one, was breathing like one, and so he became one, and it changes you psychologically. That's just a very extreme story to get you to understand the power of this kind of stuff. And if you look at method actors, even Julia Roberts, she was playing a homewrecker cheater, and she did that 6 months later in her life. Angelina Jolie and her ex-husband Brad Pitt, they were like soulmates or whatever in a movie, and he left his wife to be with Angelina. What's actually happening is you're creating different neurons in your brain to fire off and believe that they are that person that you're acting as. So if you want to change your life, whether it's through finances or relationships or business, in any capacity, you have to have a character or a version of yourself that you can already connect to, and then become that character, play that character, dress like that character, talk like that character. You are now that character. You're feeling their feelings, you're talking like them, you're reacting like them, and your neurons have no choice but to start firing off as they are that person. And when that happens, you will also reap the benefits of that person's what you were doing it for. Now, the key component, unless you're a method actor and you're doing it for the acting role, is that it has to be aligned to you so that you get those kinds of results in your everyday life. And this is a form of self-hypnosis. Let's apply this practically. So let's say that we're going to take business out of it, right? We'll do another one for business, but let's say I want to have really good relationships and I don't have good relationships, but I see that I like Wiz Liz, so we'll use her as an example, where I'm a girl, she's a girl. I can have some tendencies that can be similar to how she thinks and how she speaks and how she says things or likes things or whatever, right? So because I can connect to her emotionally or logically, like I can feel what she's saying, I can connect to that character that she's playing. It's kind of like Sims, it's an avatar. And she's now my character. So when I want to channel that Wiz Liz version of myself, then I can remember her character, what she stands for, what she represents, the good stuff, all the benefits that I want to reap, and talk about whatever, self-respect, etc., right? And now I am, what do you mean I'm Anna? Like, I am Anna, but I'm also Wiz Liz, and I will not go on dates that don't go to a certain standard, or I won't allow people to be disrespectful to me, or I will stand up for myself, or I will, these are all things that will be practically applied in my everyday life that I have to exercise and practice to become that character. So I'm connecting to it emotionally, and I'm visualizing it as me being a part of, or that character being a part of me, and I'm doing the practical, actual implementation of doing the actions that she does to yield those kind of results. So now let's look at one for business. But before we go to the business one, you notice that when I was talking about being like Wiz Liz, that my speaking got faster and I was like, "Ah, da, 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 da," because that's how she talks. So I'm already channeling her character so that I can utilize it for myself in that moment. For business, I really like Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, and there's one more. Gary Vee. So in my business, I practice a lot of modalities that help businesses with their marketing double their revenue in 2 years or less. The three people that are the closest to what I do are those three gentlemen. And so when I'm talking about marketing and sales and business development and being a part of your community and helping, you can see how I'm speaking, I'm channeling their energy of how passionate they are, how motivating they are, or motivated they are actually as well. And it's not about the money or the prestige anymore. It's about the purpose. Their purpose is greater than anything else that they're doing. And them creating wealth and establishing their businesses is a representation of all the work that they've put in and that they've gotten back from it. So when I speak about these things and I'm talking about marketing, and I am excited because when you think about Gary, you think about Joe Dispenza, and you think about Tony Robbins, they're able to explain complex things in bite-sized ways so that the masses can understand, which is amazing. And Gary specifically has a lot of motivation where he's talking with his feelings most of the time. He's talking about what is possible rather than what is impossible. He's thinking about the opportunities rather than crying about missed opportunities. And when you can channel these characters and implement them in your everyday routine, and again, implement the actions that they would take in their businesses, then your brain has no choice but to rewire itself to think and believe that you are like that character, that that character is a version of yourself, and thus your avatar, your character in this world that we're in, will also change and yield those kinds of results. I am now at $800,000 worth of work done on me in regards to energy work, healing work, hypnotherapy, therapy, cognitive therapy, neurofeedback, imago therapy, like you name it, I've probably done it. And this, out of everything, is the number one way that I can help people change their mindset, change their lives, and completely change everything. The easiest and the fastest. And lastly, you have to actually be able to connect to them. Meaning, I can't say I want to be like, you can't connect to a character that you can't connect to. If that feeling of recognition is not identified, meaning I can't see myself in Wiz Liz, then I can't connect to that character. There's another lady, the Sprinkle Sprinkle lady. I do like some of the stuff that she says. I don't like most of what she says, but I cannot connect to her. I cannot, like, her purpose is different than mine, and I feel that difference, and I can't pretend or connect to her character. So it would be really difficult for me to be like, okay, let me now play the role of Sprinkle Sprinkle lady in my life. I could technically, theoretically do it, but it would cause a lot more resistance in my life, meaning it would be harder for my neurons to pretend they are the Sprinkle Sprinkle lady because they're not used to it at all. Like, they're not used to finessing, they're not used to playing games, they're not used to like that kind of stuff. Once the games come, my neurons are like, yo, I'm good. But with Sprinkle Sprinkle's character, they would love the games and they would be like, oh, let's go. And my version is like, I can't. It doesn't. So it would take me a lot longer to become that character. It would take me a lot longer to align the rest of myself to become that character and be okay with doing some of the things she says to do. Hopefully this is making sense, but this is everything that you need to know to change your life, your mind, and your little neurons. Okay, love you, bye.